Peace. I just got a download. Accountability. Let's talk about accountability, y'all. So right now, we live in a virtual world where we have access to tons of information, so many different available sources out here right now. And it has caused the human species to become codependent on this virtual world. And in the physical world, we are lacking accountability. And in my opinion, it is extremely alarming. So the message that I just received is about how social media plays a major role in the lack of accountability that we are experiencing in the world today. See, when you have access to so much information, it being right there at your fingertips, you are privy to having this egomanic way of being through the exploitation of information, misinformation. Whenever we are in a mood or whenever our emotions distort our thinking, we have the ability to go and select through a plethora of information to find what we need to justify our actions. This is holding us back and keeping us stagnant as a society. If we lack accountability in most things or in all things that we're doing, then how can we progress forward? Now, I'm not saying that there are not influential beings out here in this virtual world who are pushing positive agendas and spreading messages that are useful. That is not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that there's so much misinformation, too much information that should be carefully and delicately selected when we seek to boost our esteem or justify our thinking, because independent thinking no longer exists. I mean, as a population, we wake up in the morning, the first thing that we do is check our phones. We need to be validated immediately as soon as we wake up. And then throughout the entire day, the eyes are glued to the screen, and we are living in this virtual world. And whatever we do, no matter what we do, we really have no consequences, because we are able to tap into some information that justifies that. It does nothing helpful for our egos. It really, in reality, it holds us back. There are so many different pools and topics of guidance given today, misguidance that is given. We must be careful about what we are allowing ourselves to consume. Accountability is done through meditation, through self-reflection. And how are we even able to channel into these methods of self-love if we are constantly wrapped up in this virtual world? We have so many different reporters who are able to support whatever energy that we're in. And how soothing is it to the ego when we hear or read something that aligns with our perspective? It's so unfair to ourselves. Really. We are being very unfair to ourselves There's no room for growth there. There's nothing to learn there if we are steadily sifting through information to find what we think we already know. We need to begin to hold ourselves accountable, to draw back from these phones, from these computer screens, from the games. The electronic world itself is very detrimental to the progression of mankind. And if we do not begin to hold ourselves and each other accountable, then we will eventually move backwards in time. When the goal is progression over time, while the goal is progression, we are steadily digressing. We look at the world around us and we see materialism developing. And so we are led to believe that that is what progression is, when really what is actually happening here is the expansion of codependency. We are codependent on seeing these materialistic, tangible parts of the experience develop into something that we haven't seen before. And so we give a lot of oohs and ahs. We are led to believe that that is what growth looks like. When we are totally misunderstood, absolutely. That is not growth at all. Yes, it is infrastructure development, but it is not growth. It is not the true essence of what growth is. Growth is something that comes from the inside of that human soul, the inside of that human mind. It's not always projected into the material world. We can look around us and we are able to and can adhere to the fact that there are beings on this earth whose IQ is high enough to surpass another's understanding through the things that they can build with their hands, through the influence that they can offer through their minds. But is it really substantial enough to move us forward in humanity? I think not. I think what is going to move us forward in humanity is to stop shuffling through these indexes of information on social media to find what we need to validate our egos, and to start turning off these devices and doing what our indigenous ancestors used to do. Tapping into the source, tapping into that inner survivor within us. Because right now, y'all, we are in survival mode, which should not be frightening and which should not be overthought. It just is what it is. The virtual world is taking over. It is bringing upon us a new world that we must adjust to. But while we are adjusting to this new world, we must not lose our survival instincts. Because just as we see how quickly this new world has come upon us, it's just as quickly as the next phase is going to come in. Before that next phase comes in, we need to return to our practices of accountability through consciousness. Hold yourself accountable. Hold another accountable. That does not mean to inflict or impose your beliefs upon another. Holding someone else accountable can be offering words of encouragement. Holding someone else accountable can be revealing unpleasurable natures of others that cause demise around them. Yeah. Holding someone else accountable can be reflecting back to them the way that they are projecting them into this world, so that they may see the destruction that their actions may possibly cause. This is not a matter that should be taken lightly. It is also not a time to panic. This message is to reassure you that the higher power is indeed real, that this virtual world is not, and it is time for us to tap in to what is important through accountability. Be mindful of the information that you are consuming. Be mindful of the information that you are sharing. We must handle this virtual world responsibly, for it can be a blessing or it can become a burden. Stay woke. Know how to navigate it, y'all. Peace.